What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumbass. Like and subscribe. So, um, there's been another attack narrative, if you will. And look, I know we say, us Xbox fans, we say that there is kind of a campaign, there is a bias against Xbox and all these things, right? And really, the root of it is a bias against Microsoft, first and foremost, and that bleeds over to Xbox and everything else that Microsoft is involved with, right? And so now what these knuckleheaded, leaderless, dunk unicorns and ponies and the internet as a whole have been doing is kind of going on this, this gravy train, if you will. And it stems from, I believe it was a blog post or something that Satya Nadella put out about AI. Now, if y'all don't know, Satya Nadella is CEO of Microsoft, yes. Also, first and foremost, he's the AI guy. He's an AI guy. That's what he does. In his brain is just, how do we get it to work? That's all he dreams about is AI. That's why he stepped away from everything. He's just like, yo, I'm gonna just concentrate on AI. You guys, you take care of the money. You got Xbox, okay, boop boop. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna be over here, AI section. That's what he did. People are like, oh, the CEO quit. Like, no, he didn't. He's just focusing, which is important because if you're not focused and you're just gonna try to follow a trend, which is what PlayStation does a lot of the time, you don't get anywhere. You don't innovate. I was gonna say the last thing they innovated in was like physical discs, but I think that was Philips that actually came up with that first and foremost. I mean, there's a consortium, a disc, Blu-ray consortium, DVD consortium, all that stuff, and Sony was part of that, but I don't know if they themselves created the technology. I believe it was Philips. I believe it was them. Anyway, tangent aside, what's happening now? The attack narrative, I'm gonna start calling it, in this whole console war. I'm gonna keep calling it console war because Xbox is coming out with a console. When? That's a whole nother story. But they are coming out with a console. But now they're saying something to the effect of AI slop. Now that's what Satya put it in his blog post, or I think it might have been a tweet at first. And he said, we need to stop, I'm paraphrasing, we need to stop calling it AI slop, and then he said something else, and he just kind of changed the name of it. I forgot what it was, but it sounded goofy too. So I was like, I mean, AI slop is just a derogatory term, basically. But what people fail to realize is that PlayStation is very heavily into AI. They have been using AI longer than Microsoft in consumer products. Their cameras have a lot of AI in it. How do you think they have all that noise reduction? How do you think the picture looks so good? Because AI. Remember? Yeah, you dog unicorns, you ponies have a very weak memory because this was a couple of years ago, actually. And Microsoft and Sony slapped hands like that, say, yo, what's up, bro? And they had a understanding, a business understanding, if you will. Whereas Microsoft would give knowledge and support to Sony in terms of server farms, the cloud, and all that stuff, because they have Azure, right? In turn, Sony would give knowledge and wisdom and such things to Microsoft about AI. Microsoft was like, we got clouds, we got servers. Sony's like, we got AI. They had the slop first. I mean, that's not true because Microsoft was investing in ChatGPT and all that stuff. But y'all are negating the fact that Sony's in this too. So from now on, there is no more PlayStation. No. I mean, the PSSR Tech 5 Potato will still stand. That's because that's what it is. PSSR Tech is literally AI. That's what that is, if y'all didn't know. But we're going to call the PlayStation is now, from this moment forward, known as the SlopStation. Why? Because AI. You want to rename Microsoft to Microslop? You want to call them Sloptia Nadala, whatever you say? Look, we can play this game all day long. So SlopStation it is. Pistol Tech Pro, Tato, Pistol Tech 5 Pro, SlopStation 5. I wonder what the SlopStation 6 is going to be like. I bet you there's going to be a lot of AI slop in it. Another thing, besides everybody ignoring the fact that Sony is in it too, I mean deeply in it. The other thing is that I don't know if, of course you don't remember, because remember, y'all have selective memory, the Donkey Unicorns and the points, but everybody else out there, let's refresh. Sony literally said this, I believe it was sometime last year. I think it was during the Fireside Chat, or it might have been soon after the Fireside Chat, where Sony literally said, we're going to use AI to make games quicker, easier, more efficient. They said that. No, I haven't heard any other studio or anything else admit to using AI like Sony did. And the fact that Sony's not getting heat for this is a prime example of the bias that exists. They are ignoring all these things that Sony is saying. And then when Expedition 33 comes out and it's like, oh, we had the AI, but oops, that was a mistake. We took it out 5 days afterwards. It's all good. Everybody's crying, hooping, and hollering because a little game like Expedition 33 came through and freaking just won everything. And they want to claim AI. It's like, no. That's not how that works. And so PlayStation, they're way in it. And they need to use AI because they don't have enough games coming out. They canceled 12 games. They're in it so deep that they need all the help that they can get. And the fact that they're in it even more, I think that they're using AI more than I would say most, because they're in such a predicament. But look, whatever. I mean, the bias is sickening, and it makes me a little bit angry. But I understand what it is. It's a game. People do this so they can get the clicks, so they can get their little monies. They're shilling for monies. They're shilling for coins. They're shaking it. They're shaking the coin cup. You know what I'm saying? Because they got to make that money. You know what I'm saying? Got to get their member goals. You know what I'm saying? So that's the pain in my arse with these knuckleheads, these donkey unicorns, these ponies, and everybody else in between who are just not saying everything. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be in this console war, I understand you, with the spin, you're trying to spin the facts to your narrative, to your battle narrative, your attack narrative. But as long as you exist, we exist. And we're going to be here to slap you through the internet. Because you don't, if you forgot, guess what? We're going to remind you. We're going to come up and we're be like, oh, you must have forgot about this. Slap. Just saying. But anyway, I appreciate y'all hanging like and subscribe. Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the AI stuff, the AI rhetoric, the attack narratives that's happening, and the fact that Sony is being quiet right now, and so are the Donkey Unicorns and the Ponies being quiet right now because they, just conveniently negate the fact that Sony literally said that they're going to use AI to make their games quicker and easier to the devs and such, which inherently isn't a bad thing, but obviously it's how they use the tool, not the fact that they're using the tool, because everybody's using the tools, but how they use the tool. We'll see. I don't know. I don't have too much faith in Sony these days. They haven't been putting out good games. They didn't even win. They got 0-19 at the game. Anyway, I'm sorry. I appreciate it. I'll talk to y'all next one. Till the wait.